Alright, what's going on, Forgotten Nation? I'm your host, FG, and welcome back to some more Runner 3 as we continue our gem run of Spooky Land. And a little bit of insight behind the scenes, this is actually the third session we've done for Runner 3 now. The first two coherently took place day after the next day, but this next session is actually many days later, almost a week since the game's come out. And the reason I waited so long is because I was really getting angry at the middle half of Spooky Land. More specifically, the fact that this game is starting to get a little unfair in terms of its progression to difficulty. It makes sense that the gem run's gonna be just as hard, but for the gold run, the basic standard that is for entry players to this game, it doesn't make sense as to why it's this difficult to begin with. So I had to take a break from the game itself. But here we are again, ready to take on some more Runner 3. With that in mind, we are continuing the gem run, and we're starting with Skull Hollow. And of course I'm expecting a challenge. It is a gem run. But I want to be a fair challenge. Not just in a sense that of course I'm going to skip the checkpoint, but the fact that I feel like that it was my mistake that I ended up losing the stage itself as to something I'd consider as a cheap hazard. Especially the first time around when they threw those enemies, they have to judge their hit pattern. It just came out of nowhere. Had there been a stage to better introduce them, then sure, I would have felt like it was my fault. But being the first time we've actually encountered them, it felt a little unfair to say the least. Especially in a stage that was already difficult. But hopefully this is the gem run, so it is going to be challenging, but at least this is some familiar territory that we've already done this to begin with. Now, as I mentioned, it's been a few days since I played this, but I'm not worried because having played through Bit.Trip Runner and Runner 2, I am used to the gameplay, so hopping back into it is nothing of a far challenge. And that is a good thing, that you are able to go straight back into the gameplay without any faults whatsoever. But I'll say that was my fault. I'll take credit to that. At least that feels like something that I did wrong, as opposed to some of the later hazards. Alright, no worries. Let's just get back into it. But I do think it is good to have a game that, say you take a break from, that you are able to go back into it without it being difficult in terms of the gameplay or the controls. Because that is a problem that some games do have nowadays, that say you take a break from it, the next time you go back into it, you may have no idea what you're doing. Whether it's because of the story that you've forgotten where you are, or it's because of the gameplay that some of the hardest controls are something that you really don't remember. There are games that do feel unfair should you take a break from them. I don't know if I have any names specifically. Okay, I have to double jump over him instead of sliding. I want to slide, but you gotta double jump. As I was saying, I don't know any games specifically I could think of that have this kind of example, but I do know there are games like that that do exist. Especially games that are focused on a campaign, story mode to say the least. That if you take a break from it and you come back to it, there's no like log or anything like that that says what you did beforehand. You may have no idea where you were going, what you were supposed to do, or where to go next. Alright, so we're going to take this path again. Now, one thing worth mentioning too is that as I was going through some of the footage of the first gem runs of Spooky Land, and not besides the point that I was struggling through the stages, but it turns out one of the first hero quests is in... it's always the same part there. One of the first hero quests of Spooky Land is actually the first stage, and it happens just after the checkpoint. But it's not in the background, it's actually in the foreground. So you have to pay attention for that when you see the paths change, in a sense. But you're so focused on the gameplay that you don't actually see that you can go what's in front of you. Even the camera angle makes it a little confusing. So unless you're actually looking at the path alone, it's kind of hard to tell that you can take a forward path that leads to a hero route. But alright. Here we go again. I missed the gold. It's alright though, we are going for just the gems. Doesn't matter. So we did learn that there is the completion mark if you get all the gold and all the gems. For the sake of the playthrough though, I am only focused on the gems, but I would like it if I could get all the gold. I don't know. It's not the biggest concern. The biggest concern is, of course, going for all the gold, then going for the gems, and then going back to find any of the collectibles. And I know from looking at the analytics, some of you guys may not like it that I'm taking another third playthrough just to go for the items alone, but for the sake of completion, it does feel necessary to go for the items. Because you're not going to just finish the game, go back to the game once you finish it, just for the items alone. It doesn't make sense. You need to go back for the items, and I feel it's only necessary before you continue on with the later stages. And the same could be said with the retro stages, but there is a good reason I'm waiting for those. As always though, say no to checkpoints. I accept the challenge that comes out of it. Ah, too soon. Alright, that was too soon. But even stuff like the camera angle still does manage to make me angry, because it's unexpected, but it's also unfair at the same time, because you can't judge the sense of depth with the camera set up like that. Nothing major though, but it just is inconvenience to say the least. Alright, we're gonna get back there, no worries. The worst stages are yet to come. But, to say the least, having played Runner and Runner 2, I'm really not a fan of that change in camera angle. It's cool if you're going in reverse, but having it from behind you, it just feels unfair in a game like this. Alright, we're doing it. Alright, here we go again. Alright, say no to checkpoints. Alright, there we go. Alright, so I gotta take the lower route. Alright, we're doing it. But, okay, here's the hero quest. So it is a part of the gem route. Anyways, we have Zimbo. Holy jumping George, you scared me. Running around all crazy like that. What's up? As for me, I'm Zimbo the Magnificent. I was raised on the streets and now I live in a garden shed. I said I was magnificent, not rich. If you haven't noticed, I'm something of an open book moreover. I'm open-minded. My friends, however, are always critical about trivial matters like the length of their elbows and the taste of my dryer lint casserole. It's too much. Seeing as we've never met, I have a favor to ask. How would you like to help me and my 3 pals become as open-minded as me? Oh. Oh my. You're asking me to kill them. We're made of porcelain, so a good old-fashioned jump on the noggin should suffice. I don't want to tell you how to do my job, but I suggest starting the hunt in the Gibbering Cliffs. My pal... Ooh, that's a nameful. Bartholomew. Bartholomew? Opens a pretty sweet dollhouse around those parts. So wait, are we still going for collectibles, or are we actually killing these guys now? Because that's a little skeptical. Let me know when the deed is done, and I'll award you with something extra spooky. Or maybe just a gift certificate. Good luck! Okay, I'm a little curious now. So does that mean we're actually killing enemies now? Or does that mean that we are still going for the collectibles? A good smash on the noggin to make them open-minded. I'm a little surprised now. But actually, this is the first time where we've actually gotten it just by sticking to the route. Which means we can still go for the 100% completion. If we make it through the stage. Alright, so I gotta focus here. And I bet there's definitely gonna be a collectible down there. Alright, so the later half of that stage actually wasn't too bad. That was pretty good. Plus, we got the hero quest, and now we can continue that route. And we got the bullseye! So, yes! Yes! That makes my job much easier, that I don't have to come back here for the 100%. And it looks like that's everything to the stage besides one collectible that we'll get later. But that was pretty good! That was pretty good. So, alright. Now we're approaching the stages that I despise the most. I don't know if it was 2.5 or 2.6, I forget what I said, but things are gonna get hard now, if you guys recall. Alright, so next we have... Now, another thing worth mentioning on the side, because it has been some days since I touched it again, but during the later half, I was actually trying some of those challenge stages, especially 95 Windows. I love the title of that, and even Charles Martinet isn't even the voice of those challenge stages. What I mean by that, you guys will see later, but those are actually some pretty hard stages. It's kind of to a point where you need to take the checkpoint just to continue. And I was afraid at first that there was going to be no checkpoints at all. But there are checkpoints, luckily. And I'm debating whether I'm going to actually try to complete those as a part of the completionist. But I feel like they're going to take a long time to complete nonetheless. Alright, but we did miss the gold, so we're just going for the gems. No worries. But the challenge stages are actually challenging. And they definitely take a lot of effort to complete. That's the difficulty I like to see for what is essentially the challenge stage on its own. They're made to be hard. So, of course, it has to have that extra challenge to it. Impossible, though, I don't know if I could say that. I mean, it feels like it is possible, it's just really hard. I want to compare it to Super Meat Boy and some of those... I believe it was called the Interwebs, or Super Meat World. I know there's like 2 variants based on what version you're playing, but... those had some of the hardest stages the game had to offer, but they weren't impossible. But it is good to see that there is a challenge awaiting. Alright, let's keep going. Alright, haven't really approached any gems yet. I feel like it's going to be coming up. Alright, still on the gem route though. I was actually afraid there for a second. Alright, stay on the Schlorts can. Alright. And because we're taking the gem route, that means no more of that guy! Thank you so much! Ah, this is peaceful. This is a great day in the Runner 3 game playthrough. Whoa! Okay, I think that's all of them. One more. Yep. Okay, now we just gotta get to the end. Which, luckily, it's right there. Not a completionist run, but still good nonetheless. Thank you! A hard stage made easy. Alright. That was pretty good. I like that I didn't have to deal with that guy anymore, because honestly, that was... But we're doing actually pretty good so far. Honestly, this is a much breezier experience than what we dealt with the Gold Run. Alright, so we got one more stage. We have... the Wording Way. Alright. I feel like, I don't know if this is just open preference, but I feel like the gem route's actually easier than the gold route. I don't know what it is. Does anyone else feel this? Let me know in the comments below, but why does it feel like the gem route's so much easier than the gold route? It can't just be me. Alright. Alright, here we go. Alright. Nice and easy, nothing too bad. Right, this was the stage with the letters in the background, which I still don't know what they mean. Like, this one says ribaldry. They're big words. I feel like I need a dictionary to know what they say. Vaculty. I don't know, they're strong words. Alright, we got the camera angle again. Oh, it's that... You know, I think I remember seeing gameplay videos of this. It wasn't E3, I remember it was Game Explained that was showing these off. Yeah, I remember this. Alright, just follow the route ahead and shouldn't be too bad. Actually, this might be the entire rest of the route. Alright, we got the camera angle again. Yeah, honestly, this isn't too bad. Alright. Alright, now we're back to the main gameplay. Alright. Careful now. Yeah, I'm remembering this. Luckily, we're not coming for the gold, so it does make it so much easier. Oh, that's not good. Actually, I don't think we even came across a checkpoint. Do we ever come across a checkpoint? This actually may be good that I say no to checkpoints, because I don't think there's a checkpoint that we've even come across in this gem route. There had to have been a checkpoint. Did I not come across it yet? No. There has to be a checkpoint. That's weird. Alright, let's just focus though. But no, something about this feels way easier than the gold route. I don't know what it is. Alright. Now, I know during the gold route it seemed like I was doing a lot of ranting, so at this point I kind of want to talk about the game itself and my thoughts so far. If I had to say so far, I honestly don't know if this is better than the first Runner and Runner 2, because there are some things they do improve upon, such as I do like how they add like the vehicles and they do some of the stuff with the alternate routes, but I feel like it's never utilized to its fullest gain. I remember when they were talking about this in like the development logs, I know especially on the website they have the devlog, that it seemed like there was so much more to it than just how it is now. Ah, I was too late. Because I remember that instead of having to play through the gold to get the gem, I remember right from the get-go there was going to be a lot more routes you could take per level. But in this final release, it feels pretty limited to say the least, with only a few variations in being able to change where you want to go. And even those routes feel forced because you don't really have a say in what you want to do. Had this been my playthrough from the get-go, I would have liked to go straight for the gems and the gold rather than having to take two different gameplay routes just to go for one at a time. And then they said that's for the idea of maybe you want to keep going or maybe you want a vehicle. I would have liked the idea, say, had I decided I didn't want to run, to take the alternate path for just a vehicle section like this. But it feels like it's almost linear to a point where you have no say in the choices you make. That the game is almost deciding itself. And in some ways it is, because from the minute on that selection screen where you pick whether it's gold or gem, it will always redirect you to the route you chose. So there really does seem like there's no sense of freedom for which route you want to go for. Had it been done right, I feel like the minute you chose that stage, it would have been up to you from the beginning. You choose where you want to go, you choose what collectibles, and you say which way you want Commander Video to go. Alright, gotta watch out here. Alright, but we're doing it. Okay, was that... Oh, that's the... You really do need to smash the porcelain heads. Okay, that's actually pretty cool. I like that idea as a collectible. That the fact that to collect it, you really do need to smash it. Okay, I'm actually looking forward to that then. Because if that's the collectible, that's pretty cool. Then mind I think that's the end of this episode of Runner 3. Finally, things are actually starting to go smooth. Being said though, again, I still have my skepticism. I'm still liking Runner 2 over Runner 3. While I'm appreciating some of the ideas, I feel like it's still not there just yet. But for what it is, we are getting there. This is definitely going somewhere. And I think for some reason this is much easier than the gold routes. I'm actually starting to enjoy this again. With that in mind though, I think that's the end of this episode of Runner 3, so stay tuned for next time as we finish the gem routes of Spooky Land. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Alright, here's to the rest of the gem route. Hopefully things are finally starting to look good.